Michael Jordan is considered by many to be the GOAT in the history of the NBA. On the court, he's a ruthless, offensive assassin who doesn't shy away from taking any shots. The same can be said when he's off the court, too. Because of his hyper-competitive nature, Jordan isn't afraid of voicing his opinions or getting in people's faces. He also isn't afraid of taking the frowned-upon path if it brings him success. Unsurprisingly, there's a considerable number of entertaining anecdotes from teammates and opponents that detail just how mean Jordan actually was. So today, we'll list down 10 times MJ disrespected other NBA players and just went too far. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. We're starting this list with him destroying Muggsy Bogues' career. He doesn't care how big you are, or in Muggsy Bogues' case, how small you are. At 5 foot 3 inches, Muggsy overcame insurmountable odds to make it to the NBA as the shortest player ever. He gained a reputation as a strong, determined, quick on-ball defender who loved guarding players full court. This was the hand-check area that favored defensive players. According to Bulls assistant coach Johnny Bach, during the 1995 NBA playoffs, the Chicago Bulls were facing the young and talented Charlotte Hornets in the first round. During a crucial moment in Game 4, with the Bulls up 2-1 in the series, Bogues had the ball during crunch time with MJ checking him. Jordan eased back and gave Bogues the chance to shoot, yelling, "Shoot it, you midget!" The 5 foot 3 guard took the shot, and it didn't come close. The Bulls won the game 85-84 and moved on to the semifinals to play the Orlando Magic. According to Bach, Bogues told him that his game was never the same after this encounter. Whether or not Jordan was the primary reason for this is up for debate. Next up is the time when he was challenging Chief. As one of the big three in the Boston Celtics 80s dynasty with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish was a proven leader. The 7-foot center, nicknamed the Chief, had won multiple championships at that point and commanded the respect of everyone around him. Well, everyone but Michael Jordan. Parrish was part of the 1996-1997 Chicago Bulls in the middle of Jordan's second three-peat. Instead of welcoming him with open arms, Jordan responded quite differently. In one of his first practices with the Bulls, Parrish botched one of the plays and was amused to find Jordan jawing at him just inches from his face. "I told him, I'm not as enamored with you as these other guys. I've got some rings too," Parrish recalled. At that point he told me, "I'm gonna kick your ass." I took one step closer and said, "No, you really aren't." After that, he didn't bother me. As journalist Kurt Helen states, by that point, Jordan was an established leader whose style was intimidation and pressure. Jordan was the ultimate alpha male who let you get away with nothing. And apparently that included future Hall of Famers. Next up, shooting down Rodney McRae. Rodney McRae joined the Chicago Bulls in the 1992-1993 season at the age of 31. He was a very serviceable forward who had just averaged 16.6 points and 8.2 rebounds 3 years prior. Eager to win a title, he was willing to come off the bench to help the Bulls. He had no idea what would come next. When asked about his experience, a former teammate of Michael Jordan had this to say, "He's the most viciously competitive player I've ever seen." That's what makes him, I think, the greatest player ever. He has practically ruined Rodney McRae for us. When the two players are on opposite teams in scrimmages, Jordan is in Rodney's face, screaming, "You're a loser. You've always been a loser." Rodney could hardly put up a jumper afterward. McRae ended up winning a title that year, but only averaged 15.9 minutes per game. It was also the last season he ever played. How about MJ bullying Bill Cartwright? You know it's bad news when the Bulls released one of the few teammates Jordan liked and brought in a player from a rival team. Bad news for the player, that is. When the Bulls let Charles Oakley go and brought in Bill Cartwright, Jordan resented the loss of his friend and took it out on Cartwright, calling him Medical Bill, and intentionally throwing impossible-to-handle passes at him in practice to draw attention to what he perceived to be his bad hands. Cartwright went on to help the Bulls win 3 championship rings with Michael Jordan, defending the paint against elite centers on opposing teams. Jordan may not have wanted to admit it, but Cartwright's bad hands contributed to Jordan's success in a big way. We can't forget when he disrespected Clyde Drexler. Portland Trail Blazers' great Clyde Drexler was one of Michael Jordan's longtime rivals during their playing days, and it was showcased during the Last Dance documentary. In the docuseries, Jordan said that he was offended when he was compared to Drexler. "I'm not saying Clyde wasn't a threat, but me being compared to him, I took offense to that," Jordan said. Drexler, one of the best shooting guards in the NBA during that era, fired back at Jordan. "That's Michael's documentary, so obviously it's going to be from his perspective," Drexler said. "Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. A lot of times guys didn't like each other from other teams, But as you get older, you've got to get beyond all of that and show some love and some respect for the people you played with and against. This is a team game, it's not one guy, Drexler added. You can have 50 points and 40 rebounds, but if you lose, are you less of a player than anybody on the other team? No, it's a team game. So I hate when people act like it's an individual competition. I didn't take 35 shots and get 20 free throws a night, so I wasn't going to score 40 points a night. Drexler and the Trailblazers fell to the Chicago Bulls in the 1992 NBA Finals. However, Drexler ended up winning a championship with the Houston Rockets in 1995. Next up is MJ fooling Charles Barkley. The 1993 NBA Finals was a showdown between two of the NBA's biggest superstars of all time, Charles Barkley of the Phoenix Suns and Michael Jordan of the Bulls. They were also great friends who went golfing together in the middle of the championship series. According to Bulls assistant coach Johnny Bach, the day before Game 4 of the Bulls-Suns Finals with the Bulls leading the series 2-1, Michael and Charles Barkley went golfing. They played 48 holes of golf, and Michael bought Charles a $20,000 diamond earring. Johnny asked MJ, "What did you do all that for?" Michael responded, "He won't get in my way the rest of the series. What's $20,000 to me? Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat guy." Jordan dropped 55 in Game 4 and Barkley never touched him once. Sounds like Barkley could stand to make some new friends. Or how about when MJ punched Steve Kerr in the face? Currently a TNT analyst, Steve Kerr shared an anecdote on the Dan Patrick Show about Michael Jordan establishing his leadership. "I disagreed with him one time," Kerr said with a chuckle. "I think he punched me in the face." That disagreement happened during a scrimmage at training camp when Kerr took offense to something Jordan said, and he didn't refrain from expressing his true feelings. "It was one of the best things that ever happened for me. I needed to stand up and go back at him. I think I earned some respect." But we have a great relationship ever since. You've got to prove it, and then once you prove it, you're fine. Despite taking a fist to the nose, Kerr walked away from it without holding a grudge. There were no hard feelings between Kerr and Jordan after that. In Game 6 in the 1997 NBA Finals, he didn't hesitate to pass to Kerr, who calmly hit the game-winning and championship-clinching shot. The rest is history. Next goes to him busting Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown has become one of the biggest NBA draft busts of all time. He stands as one example of young, talented phenoms who never lived up to their hype. However, his situation as a Washington Wizard certainly wasn't helped by the general manager who drafted him. As a leader, Jordan proved more tormentor than mentor. Many Washington players got the business end of a Jordan harangue, but he designated second-year forward Kwame Brown as the whipping boy. A source said that Jordan ritually reduced Brown to tears in front of the team. The story continues that Jordan called Kwame Brown expletives, including homophobic remarks, according to the Washington Post. Not only did Jordan hurt teammates, but he also insulted his own players as a GM as well. Next is that Iverson managed to get disrespected during their first meeting. Known for one of the filthiest moves the NBA has ever seen, former Philadelphia 76ers star Allen Iverson routinely shook his defender with his patented crossover, a quick left-right-left dribble that was a major weapon in his repertoire. Iverson's signature move was so lethal, he even successfully used it on Michael Jordan as a rookie during the 1996-1997 season, shaking the 9-time All-NBA defensive first-teamer in Philadelphia near the top of the key before draining a jump shot. "The first time I ever talked to him was that year playing in the rookie game," Iverson said. "That was the year they did the top 50 of all time where they had the jackets on and all that. I'll never forget it because he said, 'What's up, you little?' I'll never forget it. I looked at him like, 'All right, man.' And then one time I remember telling him how much I rocked with him and he was like, 'Man, you weren't rocking with me like that because you wouldn't have crossed me like that.' I always knew that once I got to the league, I was going to try my move on the best. So he was just the victim that night." And our first place goes to his Hall of Fame sore winner speech when he managed to disrespect everyone he ever encountered. This is the one story that you can be sure is 100% true. The Hall of Fame acceptance speech is one that is supposed to be heartfelt and modest. It's supposed to be a reflection on good NBA memories and an opportunity to thank friends and family who have helped along the way. The key phrase, "supposed to be," apparently doesn't pertain to Michael Jordan. At least the speech came from his heart. And through this 23-minute cringe-a-thon, Jordan exposed to the world what went through his mind and how he felt. As columnist Rick Riley of ESPN wrote, nobody was spared, including his high school coach, his high school teammate, his college coach, 2 of his pro coaches, his college roommate, his pro owner, his pro general manager, the man who was presenting him that evening, even his kids. Jordan blasted almost everyone and everything in his life, including the Hall of Fame itself, and found time for only 6 thank yous. It was typical Michael Jordan at his best. Anyway, I'm sure that there are much more occasions of his disrespectful behavior. However, these are some of the most memorable ones. Thanks for watching the video.